Jenny Anchondo, and I'm here today as your host and moderator to make sure that all your questions get answered and make sure that this just flows seamlessly, and I know it will. Listen, we are all very excited about today's speaker. It's actually a two-part session. So let me tell you what we can expect today. Our guest is Dr. Cassandra Bradford. She's a business consultant. She's the lead senior consultant at Genesis Preferred Solutions, a small business consulting and mentoring firm. So she has a lot of different specialty areas, including those of business growth, development, strategic opportunity planning. And the goal here with her and what she's been able to see results in is getting multi-million-dollar contracts with Fortune 500 companies and municipalities. So yes, she is doing the work, she's getting results. And then I love this detail as well. She's a founder of the Run Women's Conference. Her passion has been fueled by educating small business owners and teens ages 12 to 17 on the monetary and realistic outcomes and its global impact on the US economy. So she's helping the young ones, and then she's helping us as well. She has been featured in hundreds of magazine articles. She's been on radio shows, TV shows, podcasts, etc. So it really is a treasured hour to get to spend with her today, and then a treasured next hour that we get to spend with her next week. I will also note that in addition to all of this, she has authored 9 books. And one that might be of particular interest to this group is 21 Ways to Create Relational Currency. Once you see that, I think you will understand why Dr. Cass, as she is affectionately known, is so highly sought after. So we are absolutely delighted. And I should mention today's topic is contractology. So we're talking about contracts for small business. It's a heap of information, which is why we have 2 sessions worth, and I want to give her all the time that she deserves. So without further ado, Dr. Cass, I will send it over to you, and I will be taking notes and then getting all the questions in the chat. So if anybody has questions, post them in the chat. I will be here taking notes, and we'll ask them at the end.
So hello, everybody. I'm Cassandra Bradford, just like she said, and we're going to jump right into this presentation. We have a lot to share, a lot to talk about today, and so we're just going to get started, okay? Hopefully, when you're talking about government contracting, it's not too boring, right? Not too boring. So hopefully you guys can see my slide presentation. Hopefully I punched all the right buttons.
Yes,
did all the right
see
things.
it looks great.
Looks great. Okay, so you guys, she introduced me. You guys don't want to hear anything else about me, but what we're going to talk about is how to do business with the government. It's called Contractology. I think right now is a great time to be a woman-owned business. It is a great time to be a minority in business. It is a great time to wanting to grow your business exponentially and with a long-term contract. How about that? So I don't know how many of you have ever done business with the government, or you guys feel that the government is just this big blob of something. You know, you just said the government is just this big entity that's too big. I can't seem to wrap my head around who the government is. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to chop the government up into bite-sized pieces, because the one thing I want you to know is the government is a client. They are just a customer who has the ability to pay your invoice. How about that? They're not running out of money. You see how much money we're giving away right now, the government? So they have money to pay your invoice. They can afford to pay your bill. So that's what we're going to talk about. And wouldn't it be great that we can identify who the government is? So what we're going to do, we're going to just name the government for right now. Who is your boo, right? The government is my boo. I like the government because the government, I'm in love with the government. Not freaky, but I'm in love with the government because they can pay my invoice. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to identify what your boo looks like. How many of you are in love? And I know you guys got pictures of your loved one on your phone, all over your desk. They're stuck on the wall. They're in frames. But what does your boo look like? Does your boo in business need to look a certain way in order for you to do business with them, right? And what are the requirements for your boo? I remember, hey, you guys remember when you were dating, you put all these requirements. He had to be 6'5", he had to look a certain way, he had to be chiseled with abs, right? So we all have requirements for our boo. What are boo's requirements? Well, guess what? Boo has requirements of us as well. So we're going to talk about all of that. And then guess what? We want a smart boo. How many of you got a boo and you said he can't count past 10? We want a boo that does math, and we're going to talk about what that is, and we're going to know what does boo buy. Because as women, we want our boo to buy us a purse and some shoes and take us out to dinner. This is just like dating, you guys. But boo buys things. So we want to know, what will our boo buy us, right? So we're going to have fun talking about the government, talking about contracts and all of this good stuff. And so when you're talking about government, you guys said this is so boring, but we're going to have some fun. I'm into having fun today. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and it's all about um, contracts. So she gave you a little of my bio. What she didn't tell you is that in 1982, I used to be a crash test dummy. This is a true story. So before I went and got my master's in biomechanical engineering and kinematics, I was a human crash test dummy. And so I'm telling you guys this so I can give you a disclaimer. So if you think I'm just a little bit off, you'll know this girl has been in a bunch of car crashes, so we can kind of understand why she's named the government her boo, right? But that's a true story. I used to be a claims adjuster in 1982 to 1989. I started my very first company in 2000. And so I have been a lobbyist for small business, small minority business, and marginalized communities. I am still a part of our compliance team to make sure that large companies are using us in business. So and not only am I going to tell you guys about winning contract, I've also won a bunch of contracts. When I first moved to Texas, I won a $4 million contract, right? My firm did, as a small minority-owned business. Since I've been in Texas, I've been a lobbyist. I've started a Chamber of Commerce. I'm still a lobbyist. She told you about the books. Won an NAACP award. I'm going to be in Forbes magazine next month. So I'm so excited about the work that we're doing, not only in our business, but in the community. So let's jump into contractology. Are you guys ready? So we're going to know, who is your boo? Who is your boo? What does your boo look like? And how do we fall in love with our boo, right? So I know a lot of us, we want our boo to be cute, have long hair, long eyelashes, right? Probably look like, Carmen Zeta-Jones or Beyonce, somebody, right? But, or, Idris Elba for me. That man is just so cute. Oh, I just cannot get enough of this. This is my boo, God. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry, I digress. But this is our boo. Our boo could be the government. It could be local government. It could be our city. It could be our county. It could be our state. It can be our parish if we live in Louisiana, right? It could be Walmart. It can be Toyota, BNSF Railway, Bank of America, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Bell Helicopter. And guess what? It could also be Super Bowl. Have you ever thought about doing business with Super Bowl? It's amazing. I've had 2 contracts with Super Bowl, and I'm telling you, it is so much fun doing business with Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, what you guys don't know about Super Bowl is that it is a 7-day event, and the Super Bowl buys everything. They buy ice. Can you imagine? They buy tennis shoes. They buy lumber. You said, why would Super Bowl buy lumber? Because they build 5 homes when they go to every city. So they look for contractors, they look for professional services, they look for marketing, they look for just about everything. So if you're talking about doing business, not when I say government, I don't just mean city, county, state, federal government, right? Coast Guard. I could also mean Pepsi and Walmart. I can also think about our Bureau of Prisons or our school districts. The government buys everything. So What does your boo look like, and how can we make the government smaller so we can wrap our heads around what the government look like? So if you had to put a face on the government, what would it look like? Because my government doesn't have to be cute in order to pay my invoice. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Okay, so if we were to identify or put a face on the government so you can understand what would the government look like, right? So what would they look like? This is Boo. This is Boo. If you had to put a face on Boo, this is what Boo looks like to me. And Boo's name is Govette. You says, okay, Cassandra, you've been in too many car crashes. But when you have to put a face to a name, right? Can you do business with Govette? And you says, well, Govette is not the cutest thing. I don't know if I want to call Govette my boo. But guess what? Govette has money. Govette can pay your invoice, right? She has a lot of money. And she's looking for people just like you who have a business and want to do business with her. So let's go to Boo's social media page, right? Let's see what she looks like, right? So Boo's on Facebook, as you guys know, but Boo's she's been around for a while. She's been around since the 1980s. There's a program called the Minority Business Enterprise Program. It was enacted into law in the 1980s by President Reagan, and it began when our soldiers were coming back from war when they couldn't get jobs, right? And they had to start their own business, right? So when the Vietnam War happened, it was a part of the Civil Rights Act, but in 1980, President Reagan enacted it into a law that required 38 states in the United States plus Puerto Rico to have a minority business enterprise program. So it's a minority, it's woman owned, and it's veteran. So, and guess what? They want to do business with you. And Fortune 500 companies that participate with Govette, right? They get a kickback on the back end on their taxes. So they have to set aside 40% of all of their business to do business with people that look like you and me. Isn't that fantastic? So they are mandated. And now, because of the George Floyd law and what has happened since the pandemic under ARPA, they are mandated by law to do business with you. So they're looking for you. And guess what? They email you, they look for you, they call you, and they ask you, can you do this work? So it is a great time to wanting to do business with the government. So I don't understand. So let me just tell you about the different programs. So we talked about being minority owned. A certified minority owned business could be anyone that was born a minority, which could be Black or African American, Hispanic, Indian, American Indian, Asian, right? So if you were any of those subgroups, you are a minority based on the federal government under this program, right? Black or African American, Hispanic, Indian, American Indian, Asian, or Pan Asian, right? And then we also have a program. Oh, let me say this: being certified minority owned is accepted in every governmental agency, right? And Fortune 500 company that participate. So you have to either be born a minority or born a woman. This is indicated in the Federal Acquisition Regulation, right? So I'm not making these up. And then we have in 2 states, it's called historically underutilized business. Historically underutilized business, right? And that's only in Texas, and North Carolina has that certification, right? And that certification is good for any county office or parish, right? School district, college, or university. So if you can do business with a college, a school district, or a university, or a county office, those contracts are going to require you to have a set aside for a hub certification. And then we have what is called a disadvantaged business enterprise. Disadvantaged business enterprise, DBE. And these are your large contracts, right? Anything over 1.25 million or anything from a year to 10 year long. Wouldn't you like a 10-year contract? That's 10 years of guaranteed money just as long as you can do the job. Isn't that fantastic? So a DBE certification. And then we always have our veterans, veteran business enterprise and service disabled veteran enterprise. And so those contracts are awesome. Thank God for our military, right? Our veterans who have served this country. Well, 15% of all business, anytime there's federal dollars on a project, must be or shall be, like I say, it shall be given to our veterans. So if you were born a minority, born a woman, have a DD 214, you were a veteran, then I'm talking to you, right? And so that means that some of the other let me just jump into here. Some other requirements that Boo have is that well, we talked about being a brick house already. So you have to be born a minority, born a woman, right? And that minority or a woman or veteran must own at least 51% of the business and operate the business at least 51% of the time. So you can't be 50-50. Someone must be at least 51%. And it's okay if you still work a job and run your business. We just have to prove that you work for yourself at least 51% of the time. So the criteria are as follows. You have to be born a minority or a woman, right? We have to prove that with a birth certificate or a U.S. resident card. Or you have to be a veteran or a service disabled veteran, and that will be on your DD 214, even what your disability is, right? And so now that minority, woman, or veteran must own the business at least 51% and operate the business at least 51% of the time. You guys got that? All right. And so now Boo has some other requirements. So in order to get certified, you guys gotta know that the government, I think the government hates paper. That's just my own personal opinion, because they require a lot of paperwork. And you guys, what would the government be without paperwork? I mean, they're known for paper. I think they hate trees. It's just all paper. So once you meet those three requirements in the threshold, in order to get certified, there's about 28 documents that you would have to submit in order to become certified. Of course, they want to make sure that you're in business, right? So your certificate of filing or your assumed name, right? They want to make sure that you are a legal entity. You have to have an EIN number from the IRS, because remember, we don't use our social security numbers in business. We use EIN numbers. 3 year tax returns. Even if you haven't been in business for 3 years, they want 3 years personal. They just want to make sure you're tax paying citizens. Okay. Another thing that they're looking for, especially us that have partners in our business, they want to make sure that K1, because sometimes we'll have in our K1 that we're 50-50%. And remember, and under this program, somebody has to be at least 51% owner, right? They want to make sure that you have a bank signature card, which means that you have a business bank account, because certain cities or counties, they will direct pay you to your account. And they're not going to pay you personally. They're going to pay a business account. So your bank signature card, not your ATM card. When you go and you open up your bank account at the bank and they send you home with a folder with some papers in them, it's the papers that has the banking resolution language. They want to know who the signers are on your business account. They want to make sure that that bank account is attached to the right EIN number, right? So that is important. They want to know, do you have 3 references that they can call to verify that you're in business and that you've contacted them, have done any business with them, right? They want to know, do you have any equipment? And we all have equipment. Even if we are consultants, we have a computer, we have a cell phone, right? Or we may have a car. It all depends on where in the United States that we live, right? They know that we have equipment. So they want to know, do you have a personal net worth? That's what that list of equipment is, because you have to put value to that equipment. So they want to make sure that you have value, that you have invested in yourself, right? So that list of equipment. So it can sound like one HP computer equals one Epson printer equals one Samsung Galaxy cell phone, one 2007 F-150 pickup equals. So you have a list of equipment. So that's another thing. They want to know, do you have equipment? They want to make sure that you don't have any outstanding loans where you're going to low bid in case you get a contract. Can you afford to be in business, right? So there's about 28 documents that you have to send, and these are what are necessary in order to become a certified minority-owned, woman-owned, disadvantaged business, hub, or veteran-owned business. All of these are required. So, and I know a lot of people are saying, this is a lot of paperwork, Cassandra. But this is the government. This is GoVet. GoVet loves paper. But I want to just continue on to all the good news about being a certified minority-owned, woman-owned, or veteran-owned business is that the government looks for you. They will email you opportunities. They will call you. If you still have a fax machine, they will still fax you. And they will ask you, I'm serious, you guys are laughing like, who still uses fax machine? The government? Them. They do. The GoVet, she does. And so they will call you and they'll go, hey, we have this opportunity. Can you do this work? Right? And you said, oh my God, I can do the work. So these are what are called requests for proposals. They're going to send you a RFP, a request for a proposal, where they are requesting you to submit a proposal to do what you say that you already want to do, right? So they're just looking for you. They look for you in so many different ways. They will invite you to what are called agenda to build capacity meetings. They will invite you to town hall meetings. They will invite you to procurement meetings, procurement networking meetings. They want to know who you are so they can do business with you. Why? Because remember that 40% set aside, they have to use us. They're looking for us. And when they can't find us, they have to give it to big business. We're small business. We are the backbone to the U.S. economy. We want that business. I want that business. And I'm sure you want that business. I know I do. So we got to find out, well, if the government buys everything, what is it that they buy? What does Boo buy? Does she only buy construction services? Does she only buy purses? Boo buys everything. There is nothing that you're selling that the government is not buying. And I have to repeat that. There is nothing that you're selling that the government is not buying. They buy everything. They buy ice. They buy socks. They buy construction services, accounting services. They buy books. They buy books in bulk. Oh my God. If Bureau of Prisons will buy your book in bulk. If it's a faith-based and it can help somebody create uh, um, employment, or you can teach someone how to stay out of trouble, probably. They will buy your books in bulk. They buy everything. They buy toe separators. You go, what? Yes, in some of our prisons, they teach cosmetology. Yes, they do. They buy hair care services. Can you believe how many barbers get a contract with juvenile facilities? They buy trucking, transportation. They need to move freight from point A to point B. They need to move dirt, which is aggregate, right? They buy consulting services, insurance services. They buy insurance for Canada, auto insurance, life insurance. Why? The government has employees, right? You guys have friends that work at the city or at the DMV office. Well, they have health insurance, so they'll look for an insurance agent to sell them insurance. They buy light fixtures. They buy propellers for boats. They buy cars. They buy fleet. They buy, can I say this again? There's nothing that you're selling that the government is not buying. So don't think that, oh my God, I'm in a niche and they may not need what I have. They buy everything. They buy public speaking services. I'm a speaker. You know how many contracts I have with the government just to go and talk and run my mouth? It's amazing. I love it. So, how do you get this information? What does it look like? So, we talked about the request for a proposal, RFP. That's what that means. It means that the entity, whether it's a government office or a Fortune 500 company, they want you to put in a bid to do what you say you can do, right? So they don't, but they already know how much it costs, just so you know. But they need your company to present a proposal and tell them what you're going to charge them for the service or the goods that they need. So it's called, they're going to put out what is called a request for a proposal, which once you win that proposal becomes a contract. So they're putting out a request for a proposal, an RFP, which means that you have to read them and place a bid. Okay, so let's take a look at what some of these RFPs look like. And I grabbed a few just so you can see they're in different trades. So you can see it's not just construction services, it's also in professional services. Okay. So this RFP is for someone to put in some networking, right? So if you do underground cabling, and this is for the school district, and I just want to let you guys know almost every school has this RFP right now, because remember when the pandemic hit and our kids went on YouTube, and then you got all these pop-ups of God knows what. They were like, oh my God, we need filters in place. Well, you have to understand, a lot of these schools were built in the 1960s and 1970s. I remember my high school, my mother went to my high school. So you can imagine how old this school is, right? My mother in her 90s. So this school didn't have T1s underground or fiber optic cabling. So they got to dig up all these schools now to make sure that they can put in all these fiber optic cables so they can have internet access, right? So they can put in all the spyware and software, right? So this RFP is for someone to, it says put in fiber optic cables, have the networking program and provide internet access. So this was a pretty good one. So that's what you do. This was a pretty good RFP, right? And this was for the school district, okay, that was in Louisiana. This one was for asbestos abatement. So if you're in construction services and you deal with asbestos and lead paint, right? Here's another one for a school district, which would probably require a hub certification because it's in Fort Worth, Texas. Remember, there were only 2 states that gave out a hub certification, which is Texas and North Carolina. So this contract or this RFP was with a school district, right, in Fort Worth, and they were looking for someone to detect asbestos and lead paint in one of their schools, right? And so this was a contract with that school district. So this was one for asbestos, so that's construction services. And here's another one. This one is also in the school district. This was for building and demolition. So they were looking for general contractors. So they needed people to move earthwork and do some paving. So that means they needed some dump trucks. They needed demolition company. They probably needed someone to come back and put in some sidewalks, it says here, do some painting, some finishing, some grading. And they wanted you also to do some irrigation and some landscape. So if that was you, and this is what your company does, this would have been a great contract for you. Now, I want to stop and say something here. You hear all the things about this contract. They wanted you to tear the building down, right? Demolish it, right? Then they want you to come back and put in some sidewalks and some parking lots, and they want you to do some irrigation and some landscape. You say, well, wait a minute, I only do landscape. This is the time that you find other people that you can team with so you guys can come together to satisfy the terms of this RFP. That's called teaming. Teaming, and we're going to talk about that in day 2. But this is the time that you come together so you can fulfill the contract. I always say a little piece of the pie is better than no pie at all, or cake, because I love cake, right? I wrote a book called The Power of Cake. So I always say, even if the RFP mentions things that I can't do all of it, I'm going to put together a team in order to satisfy this contract. Okay? And we're going to talk about teaming later, but this is just an RFP. I want to just go over some so you can guys see that there are RFPs to do just about anything. Look at this one. This is for a DJ. This is for a DJ. Get the party started. If you're a DJ, you're like, wait a minute, I can get a contract with the city or with a school. This is with Round Rock ISD in Round Rock, Texas. Cities are going crazy right now. Guess who's in high demand right now? DJs. Can you imagine? Because now we're open since the pandemic. Every city has what? Music in the park, jazz in the park, art at the park. There's something going on everywhere where we need music. DJs are in hot demand right now. We are the United States, we're open. We want to get back out to the park, spend time with our friends and our family. And what better way to do that but with some music? So this RFP is looking for a DJ. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I get RFPs every day. And I have seen so many RFPs for DJs and lighting and sound. And if that's you and you're a DJ and you can keep the party started, I'm pretty sure this is at a school district, so you probably got to have some clean music. Then you should want a contract. Yeah, yeah, Jenny, put your hands in the air. Man, if I was a DJ, I would be going after every school and go, hey, I am available for the job, right? So can you imagine all of the DJs that are, I mean, I was talking to a DJ recently, and he's like, he is so booked right now with all of these cities and school districts. Everybody's having a party, y'all. So listen, if you're a DJ, you want to be certified minority owned, woman owned, or veteran owned, because this will be a great one for you to bid on. This is another one where they're looking for people to create tutorial classes. Is that you? I mean, we need to learn. Can you create a class, a video tutorial classes on anything? This is with the city of Houston, Texas. And this is a 1-year contract, and they want you just to create some educational classes. Can you do that? I'm pretty sure you can. So we went from construction services to demolition to keeping the party started. Now we're in professional services. I'm telling you guys, the government buys everything. This is another DJ one. This one is for it looks like roll up garage doors. Can you install doors? Is that what you do? Is that what your company does? Not only do they want you to install them, they want you to repair them. So I guess they have ones that are probably broken down. You don't care. You can do all of that. You're in the door business. This one is out of San Bernardino County, California. But these RFPs are everywhere. Are you guys kidding me? Man, I love it. So this is for someone to, if you own a business where you repair doors and you replace doors, this would be a great opportunity for you. Here's another one. This is for, this is the DMV office. They want you to clean the parking lot, do some power washing. This is a $162,000 contract. Y'all see that in red? Man, they want you to clean the parking lot, sweep it. This got to be a multi-year contract. It's a $162,000 contract. So if this is you and you say, hey, I have a steam wash company. Well, we normally steam wash cars. We can steam wash some power wash some parking lots. This may be something that you may be interested in bidding on. Okay. So that they give you the specific. This is 89,300 square feet of paved parking surface parking lot. And they even tell you where it is, and they just want you to bid on it. I think that's their cap at $162,000 that they're going to pay out on it. So you go out there, you measure it off, you know your pricing. And I'm pretty sure if it's worth you bidding on it, and $162,000 is what you said, you know what, that's almost what I was going to charge for that. This may be an awesome opportunity for you. So RFPs, guys, and this is one for third-party claims. So you're in insurance claims. All right. Remember, I told you the government buys everything, right? I'm gonna tell you, I remember a contract. I told you guys I used to be a claims adjuster. So the very first company I started was a litigation management firm where we were telling insurance companies about who else is responsible, let's put it like that. And so this contract is for someone to handle their claims. I ended up getting a contract with Fort Worth Police Department. I said, oh my God, they can't drive. They run into everything. I loved it because the more things they ran into, the more I got paid. So this is for a claims adjuster. right? So if you are a claims adjuster, there are so many opportunities because most cities, just about every city, not all, but just about every city is self-insured. So if you do claims, whether it's auto liability or workers' comp, even if you sell insurance, there's contracts out for that. So just want to let you guys know that there are contracts out. This is for a web developer. So if you create websites, and this one also wants you to keep them on social media. This is a $150,000 contract. This is a federal contract. It's $150,000. Can you create websites? They want you to do some SEO optimization, some branding, and social media and public relations. I'm telling you guys, this is a great opportunity. So we're just going over, I just want to show you guys some RFP so you can say, the government does buy everything. Go vet, that boo thing is looking a little cuter every time she hits the slide button. She's looking just almost drop dead gorgeous. Excuse me, Beyonce. I like Go Vet. See, I'm telling y'all. And so this one is for, I can't really see it, but this one is for uh
Looks like,
healthcare services.
yeah, health.
Yeah. So if you're in nursing, home health care is hot right now, guys. If you're a therapist, even if you just want to listen to somebody complain, I don't know. They want you to help people get acclimated back to work. They want people to feel safe at work. So this is for nursing services, health services. So this is a good one. I think I got one more. This is a video reproduction. You're like, I can make some copies of some CDs and some DVDs. This is a $946,000 contract just to reproduce videos. Y'all don't even understand. I'm like, I can't even spell video, but if it was me and this is what my company did, I will be bidding on a contract. And we're gonna go over this in part 2. I don't always want to win a contract. I want to lose. And we're going to talk about how losing is winning. We're going to talk about that. I don't know how much time I got. I was going to start my timer and I forgot. But we're going to keep going. And we're going to talk about some more things. So these are just some of the RFPs that are out, guys, that you can be bidding on. If you can reproduce some videos and do video productions, I'll tell you guys, I have a client out of Atlanta, Georgia, and he won a small contract just taking snapshots of historical buildings, and he did such a great job. They asked him, well, do you do videography or cinematography? And he said yes. So he ended up getting a 7-year contract to do create a video about the growth of Atlanta, Georgia. And there was another contract over in, I think it was Cedar Hill, Texas. Same thing, talking about the history of the city and where the city is now. There was another one that I think this was right pre-pandemic, in Mansfield. Most of Mansfield is Indian territory. I don't remember if it was Choctaw or Cherokee, but most of that land is Native American land. And so they wanted someone to come in and film the history about the Indian migration into the city of Mansfield and where the city is now. So if that's you and you're a photographer or videographer, listen, school pictures. So we got to think outside the box. What about school pictures? You're a photographer. What about sports? You know, we're in Texas. I'm in Texas right now. And I'm gonna tell you, sports is big business here. So if your kids is in Wii football and he's 3 years old, he's hot commodity here in Texas. 3-year-old little sports guys are hot commodities. And so they look for people that can take their pictures out on the field and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter what you're selling. Go Vet is buying. So I'm gonna tell you guys, we're gonna just jump real. You guys are saying, Cassandra, this sounds way too good to be true, right? So I love bidding on contract, but I also like contracts I don't have to bid on, and those are called low hanging fruit or low bid, no bid. Low bid or no bid contract. Anything under $25,000 doesn't have to be bidded out. I can walk into my city, county, state office, school district, college, university, and say, hey, I'm the woman for the job. What do you have for me? So what I'm going to do is give them my capability statement. We're going to cover that in part 2. I'm going to give them my capability statement because within my capability statement is almost like a mini website. It's my about me, right? About the company, not Cassandra, but about the company. It's going to have my core competencies, what my company does, right? It's going to have my NAICS codes, NAICS, Northern American Industry Classification System. Northern American Industry Classification System. You're just a number with the government. And what that is your job description. So if you go out onto Google and you put in NAICS, you type in NAICS, and in the top, you're going to probably see U.S. Census. Click on that one. I love that one. In the top left corner, you're just going to write in your job description. So if you're in construction, type in construction. Once you click construction, you're going to see, well, do you build residential homes, duplexes, triplexes, commercial, single family? So you find which one is best for you, right? Then you go back, you says, well, we put on roofs. So you put roof. Now you have a different next code for roofing. Is it residential roofing? Is it commercial? Is it industrial? So we all have more than one, right? We all have more than one. And so those next codes should be on your capability statement, okay? And so you can walk in and ask for anything under $25,000 means you don't have to respond with a bid. You can walk in and ask for, what do you have today based on my next codes that's mentioned in my capability statement, right? And so that's called low hanging fruit. So that means that Boo does math. So I live in North Texas. In North Texas, we have 26 counties. If I went to 26 county offices and asked for a $25,000 contract where I didn't have to bid against anybody, how much money is that? It's $650,000, right? I live in North Texas. We have 362 cities. And why do I have this in my memory bank? Well, I used to be president of a chamber of commerce. We were a regional chamber over 26 counties and 362 cities. So if I walked into 362 city offices and asked for a $25,000 contract, I believe that's over $9 million, right? Yeah, 9,000. 9 million, sorry, it's over $9 million. And I didn't bid against anybody. So I didn't have to put together a proposal. I didn't have to read a proposal. I didn't have to come back and tell them what I was going to charge and all my insurance requirements. I can walk into those offices and ask for a low hanging fruit or a low bid, no bid contract. Isn't that amazing? So we think, oh my God, I got to put together a proposal. I have to do all of this stuff. No, you don't. You just have to make sure you're certified, minority owned, woman owned, veteran owned. Put yourself in a position where you can receive opportunities. You do have to attend some of these pre-bid meetings, right? But you want to go and create relationships because those relationships opens doors to opportunities. So next we're going to talk about how to win and how to lose a contract. We're going to talk a lot about how to lose. We're going to talk about, I want to flat out lose a contract so I can still make money. You guys are going to, Cassandra has been in way too many car crashes. I don't know where she's getting this stuff from, but everything I'm telling you, I want you to Google it. I want you to look it up. I mean, this stuff has been around for a while and they're looking for you. So I look for contracts, not so much where I'm the prime or I don't want to have to share my revenue. I want to get on a team or I want to be a subcontractor. I want to make sure that I'm growing my company exponentially and that I'm also helping others to make money as well. I'm also growing their business because one way, and I'll leave you guys with this, one way to win a contract is that all of your subs or everybody on your team is also certified minority, woman, on a veteran. That's how you win. And so we're going to go over next week what that looks like, what that sounds like, and how we're going to lose contracts and how we're going to win them. right? We're going to go a lot into codes and what they mean, because they're not just NAICS codes that are out there that are required. They're also SIC codes and NIGP codes. So I'm going to open the floor for some questions, because I think I've been talking for about 45 minutes here.
It's perfect. It's great. Oh my gosh. First of all, you've given us so much energy, and that really is a gift when people pour into you. And I want to give it back to you by letting you know there's so many comments from people saying that they loved your energy and they are just really enjoying what you have to say, that they're feeling inspired, they're feeling optimistic about their businesses. So just, receive that. It was a lot of love coming your way. Now, the questions. They are abundant. I have a lot of notes. So let's get through. First of all, they started off with some people coming in late. I know a lot of you guys are on spring break mode. Maybe you came in late, and I want to remind you, there will be a full replay of this on Sarah's YouTube channel. So you'll want to go to that, get the beginning. For the people that were asking, what's a boo? That just girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, partner, person you're into. That was sort of the play on words. But anyway, yeah, people who didn't see the beginning, they're like, what is this? And why are there animals up on my screen? Okay, so first question that people were asking is, what is this website that you're finding all of this on? Where can people go directly in order to find out what's available with government or city jobs?
Well, every city, every county, every state, every school district, everyone has their own website. That's the sad part. So you have to be registered as a vendor. And a lot of these contracts that I pulled up are only for certified minority-owned, woman-owned, or veteran-owned business. I will tell you one that you can go to, sam.gov, sam.gov. Before you go on to sam.gov, you have to make sure you have your EIN number and you have your Dun & Bradstreet number. So if you don't have your Dun & Bradstreet number, go to Dun & Bradstreet and get your cage code, right? Get your Dun & Bradstreet number and your cage code, because you'll need that before you go onto sam.gov and create a profile. Once you go on to sam.gov and create your profile and give them your cage code and your Dun & Bradstreet and your EIN number, you'll have access to a whole bunch of contracts in any state, even Puerto Rico and Mexico. So it's up to you. Those are more federal contracts, but at least you'll have access. So that's the easiest one place you can go to find. But every city has their own, every county, every school district, every Fortune 500 company, public transportation, airports, let me see, Port Authority, everybody has their own contracts and they're on their own website. So unless you're registered everywhere, and all depends on where you are in the United States.
Okay, that's helpful. So we have to do the legwork, you guys. It's like, you got to do the legwork to find it, but it sounds like, is it accurate to say once you have sort of figured out the system, then you're in and you know where to go, and it's a more rapid kind of turnover and find?
Well, it all depends. Every state, well, where they're at is the problem. So every city has their own. Every county has their own. So let's say whatever city that you live in, that will be the first place I will go and register my business as a vendor. You have to be registered as a vendor. And they're going to ask you in your vendor registration, do you have your certification as a minority-owned, woman-owned, or veteran-owned business? If the answer is no, you're not going to get access to as many contracts as you want to RFPs. If you have your certification, the floodgates are open. Now, whether you bid on all this stuff is up to you.
Perfect. Another question from somebody saying that they are a 501c3. Would they potentially qualify for any of these, or would that be a totally different scenario?
No, this is for-profit businesses only.
Okay, I think that's important for people to know, a good distinction. A couple people asked that. Now, they were also wondering, when you talk about becoming that certified, and I know you explained this at the beginning, becoming these certified women-owned or minority-owned or veteran-owned businesses, what's the first step in terms of getting that done?
Well, the first thing, you have to be legal, be a legal business, right? And then you have to make sure that you're in your operating agreement or your articles or in your minutes, it all depends on the state you live in, right? That it shows that you are at least 51% owner. At least. You can be 60-40, 70-30, but someone must be at least 51. They can't be 50-50.
Getting a question about this one, if somebody is more like in pre-business status, are they able to receive information about what the government's looking for? Like, let's say they may think, oh gosh, let me tailor my business to be something that might be contracts that are abundant.
Well, you want to have experience doing whatever it is that your business does. Because if you say, well, I just want $1 million contract because that's hot right now, that becomes a job and you're going to end up hating it. Because I believe you should love what you do and you should do business with anybody, right? Whether it's the government or anybody, based on something that you love to do, because it shows. And the government would know.
Okay, so go into business, but is there I guess to follow up, is there a way for people who are like, okay, I'm still getting ramped up, I'm still getting everything taken care of, but I'd like to see what's out there? Or is it like you have to have everything done before you even look at the jobs?
No, you can go look. Anybody can go register on sam.gov. The thing about sam.gov, they want to know what is your effective date that your business was established, and they're going to require your EIN number. So if you don't have that, then you can't even get registered. You can always look at RFPs. I mean, it's overwhelming, but you could just type in a name or type in a job description and see what's out there. You put in nursing and see what you get. It is overwhelming.
Now, you said EIN, and I think you said cage code, getting a couple of questions from people asking what that is. And sorry if that's something we should all know, but I figure if more than one person's asking, it's worth sharing.
So, your Dun and Bradstreet is how you create or establish business credit, right? So once you go on to Dun and Bradstreet and you create your profile, Dun and Bradstreet is going to tell you should get business credit, and they can help you with that and what they charge. You don't have to do that. You can just say, I'm going after government contracts. But if you need that, then I would definitely recommend you buy it. But once you get registered, you will be assigned a Dun and Bradstreet number, and you'll be assigned a cage code. Okay, well, it's really three, and an MPIN number. It stands for marketing pin. I don't know, but you need those numbers because when you go to sam.gov, so this is how we do this. Set up your business. Go to Dun and Bradstreet, get your Dun and Bradstreet number, get your cage code number, and your MPIN number. Those numbers are important for your business. Write them down, keep them in a safe place. Then you're going to go to sam.gov. sam.gov, you want to register your business. They're going to ask you for the effective date. So if you got your certificate of filing, you're going to need that. It gives you the exact date. Your EIN number, all right, your address. It's going to ask you for your cage code number and your MPIN number that you got from Dun and Bradstreet. Put all of those in. Then they're going to ask you for your NAICS codes, your NAICS codes. Sometimes they'll ask you for your NIGP codes, okay? But they have a link. They'll have a link there. They always do. And you click on the link for NIGP. And you're going to do the same thing like you did for NAICS. Put in construction. It'll give you another NIGP code. Put in roofing. It'll give you a NIGP code. Put those in. Then, once you do that, you'll have access to opportunities and you can go in and see what's out there.
Okay, it seems like Dr. Bradford, once we figure out all the codes and all the like logistics on the front end, then we can really get in and get started. Somebody's asking, would this apply to franchises? Is this something that franchises can take part in, or would that be separate?
It all depends on the franchise. So you still have to set up a company. Even if you bought into a franchise, they're going to require your franchise agreement. Right? And so your business still is doing the work of buying the supplies or whatever your business is doing. So yeah, franchises, they can get in on it too.
Okay, franchises can get in on it too. You guys, just a couple more minutes for questions, and I'm going through scanning to make sure that I'm getting the ones that have doubled up. Now, a specific question, asking where can they go for bids for school districts? Is it just directly to the school district site?
Go to that school district site, register as a vendor.
Okay, register as a vendor, and then you'll be sort of in the system for
Right.
a while. Do you have
And
any best practices for getting selected?
so, okay, so that's in part 2. It talks about how to read an RFP, and it'll tell you how you're scored. And that's how we'll find out about losing a contract. You still win. So you're scored as to how you win. So you may say, "Oh, I can do the scope of work. I can do all of that. I can put the roof on. I can do that." But the requirements could be where you get lost, and we'll talk about that next week. But the scorecard could read you and your key personnel. Okay, so you have to get to 100%, right? And it could read, and this is normally in professional services, you and your key personnel equals 60%. What that means is if you and everybody on your team, remember I said about subbing some of the work out in order to satisfy the whole contract. So let's say that Jenny and I want to bid on a contract as a public speaker, and I know that Jenny, she teaches math. I can't count to 10. And I may say, Jenny, we should bid on this contract together because I can go in and talk about it, but you can create all the course material around math, right? So Jenny, how much would you charge to create the content around math? So Jenny says, oh, it's going to cost $10,000, Cassandra. Okay, so I'm going to add her 10,000 with my 5,000, right? On what my part, and then that's $15,000 bid. So now I've created a team. The one thing I want to ask Jenny, are you certified minority owned or woman owned? Because it says if you and your key personnel, which means me and my subcontractors or me and my team, if everybody's on my team are certified, that could be 60% of my score. The other 20% could be, do you meet the insurance requirement? So I may say, Jenny, they want us to have $5 million in errors and omissions. Just say, oh yeah, I've got that. I'm like, well, I have it too. So yep, we're gonna submit our copies of our deck page so now we're at 80%. The last 20% could just be our bid amount. Remember that 15,000 that we said that we were gonna charge to do the whole thing? So only 20% of the weight is going to be on how much we're charging. So you have to read each RFP reads differently. The scorecards read differently. So you have to read all the way to the end.
Right, like those details. Gosh, it makes me think the people who get it are going to be the people who just pay attention to all the details. This is a really good question. How long does your business or corporation have to be established to qualify for bidding on contracts? That was from our group here.
Well, you can set your business up today and get certified tomorrow. So that's your first step. We need you to get certified. And then to bid on the contract, you want to make sure you have experience. That's why I say don't start a business based on what's hot in the contracting world. You want to make sure you have experience because when you getting certified is one thing, but bidding on the contract, they want to know, do you have experience?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think this is a perfect place to wrap up. I wanted to share with everybody your website. I have iamdrcass.com. Is that where people should find you?
That's easy. It's going to take them to genesispreferred.com, but I am Dr. Cass will work.
Okay, excellent. So here's the deal, everybody. We got a lot of wonderful information today. It was a lively discussion. If you want to soak in the replay, that will be up by Wednesday, which will time it out perfectly to be ready for next week's session, which will happen on Thursday. So Dr. Cass is going to continue with us on Thursday. If you're looking for that YouTube channel, it's just Sarah National's YouTube channel. They'll post it in the chat and you'll be able to find it there. And then you can watch that replay on replay on replay on replay, and you can learn about what a boo is, and you can learn all the different things and take notes. Dr. Cass, thank you so very much.
Sure, this was fun.
It really was fun. It really was. So there's the link, everybody. And for more information on Sarah's programs, they're up on the screen as well. And I look forward to seeing you all same time, same place next week. And we will continue the conversation. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.